I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly, and we are back with another video. If you guys are new to the channel and you enjoy true crime stories, news, politics, and so much more, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. I really would appreciate it. And if you are a returning listener, subscriber, well, thank you guys, as always, for being a friend. I really appreciate y'all, and please like the video if you like it. Give me a comment, whatever you can do. It really does help me out, and it's a free way to do so. And I thank everyone in advance for watching this video.
You know the thing.
So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so let's just dive right in head first, okay? So welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, please subscribe. You know, we're going to be getting into the Trump assassination attempt once again. I'm sorry if you guys are tired of hearing about it, but it is pretty huge and significant news that I feel like at the current moment, the mainstream media is really trying to memory hole, and people are just trying to move quickly on from. But I do just feel like that there's more to the story, and you know, people are really just, you know, trying to get answers, and it seems like answers are just evading us at every turn. So we're going to be looking at this, guys, and I just wanted to point out a few things that I noticed about this and just kind of go over it and just look at some of the questions that are still really glaring, and some of the different ways that I feel like we're trying, they're attempting to gaslight everyone. And I want to know what you guys think, because I have still, like I said, some really important questions, and I feel like there's some really glaring inconsistencies with this video, and I found some things that I thought were kind of interesting, and I just wanted to point those out. So this is from Mr. Guns and Gear's Twitter page. He actually stitched the two different body camera angles, and he said that he removed some of the noise in the audio to make the crosstalk easier to hear. And then I want to just point out some of the things that I saw whenever I was watching this back, and I want to know what you guys think, so let's get into it.
Copy, Ronnie, we're coming to you now.
So if you look at the timestamp, it says 6:27 there at the bottom, and this was a mere, what, 15 minutes after Trump was initially shot. And people had just finally started to clear out of this event, and this is them coming from that staging area where Trump was rushed off from the vehicle, and they're making their way across this field over to the building where the shooter was positioned on the roof. So this is what we're seeing right here, and you can see people are already up there. You can see multiple officers up there on top of the roof where the shooter was apparently perched, and with a rifle aiming at President Trump.
Figure out how this guy got here.
Go. Go.
You're gonna have to take that bag off.
Look.
Well, we ain't fit you.
You will.
You guys gonna fit?
I don't know.
Trying to figure out how he got there. Bitch, what the fuck, he walked.
Go.
Yeah. Same way as you're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get through there. Yeah, we need full cutters.
Wash your face.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Look, Joey. Go. Clear.
So it looks like these two, the body cams that we're watching, are from the Beaver County, I guess, tactical team. From what I can glean from their outfits, which is probably how you got this footage.
I think
Local police.
Is that where the dude is too?
Yeah, he's up there too. So the ladders are en route. The operator suffered lacerations in the hand from climbing up on the weapon. So like we might need minor stitching. Okay. Can't confirm life status on the mail, but let's get our operators take care of first. But ladder is coming. So how we got up, next corridor over. Okay. We're in this tight little, you'll see all the handprints on the pine trees. The suspect is directly above us.
So the ladder's going to be coming over here?
Yeah. They're going to bring the backside.
So that corridor down there? Yeah.
So this is odd. I guess these are the local police is what I'm thinking, due to their like uniforms and everything like that. But they're saying the ladders are en route. But as you're about to see, there's already a ladder propped up, and we can see whenever they were walking up to this building, there was multiple officers already up on that roof. So it's like, how, you know, why is there not communication amongst all these different agencies? Why are people not in the loop about what is going on, who's where? And, you know, they were discussing, they weren't even sure whether or not the suspect was dead or not. So it's very odd, the fact that, you know, these are all people within a close proximity to one another, but they're very much not on the same page as far as the communication goes. And I think that that's a little bit hectic, and it's indicative of why we saw this, you know, successful attempt, and also due to the fact that, you know, I think that there was some coordination there, nefarious coordination in terms of people kind of maybe either looked the other way or allowed this to happen, but that hasn't been proven out yet. It's just a, you know, a conspiracy theory, but let's check it out. And what they're saying, because we heard some conflicting statements
right here.
about the ladder. Yeah, it's a ladder. Use it. So you see the ladder is already up against the building. Who brought this ladder? Okay, obviously it was a police ladder, but it's very bizarre. Look, you see a chair that's broken. So maybe that was how they initially got up on the roof to, you know, look at the shooter, because there were some police officers that initially confronted him up on the roof before he even took a single shot. And it was explained that he pointed his weapon at the police officers that were able to scale the side of this building. I'm guessing with that chair that was broken, and they ended up jumping down, and that's when they explained that, you know, some of the officers cut their hands in the process. But it's unclear, you know. Apparently,
He was on a roof outside of the fence. You need anything? No, I need to take.
Apparently Thomas Crooks had purchased a ladder himself from Home Depot this very same day, but it hasn't been explained what happened with that ladder, because from what we're being told now, the ladder that he apparently purchased was not anywhere to be found near this building where he was on the roof of. So it's kind of bizarre, because there was multiple ladders that were shown, and these were all explained later to be police ladders, or ladders that were brought by police after the fact. So how did he get on this building? That's my question. How did he get on the roof of this building? That hasn't been explained to us yet.
All right.
And you can see his body laying over here. You can see there's a book sack here that apparently belongs to him, as well as other items. That's all of his blood. Gross. Okay, this is important.
Set up solid perimeter around this building. Okay. Because we're gonna have to get access and clear it out. And I believe in the area. Watch out for shell casings.
2, 3, 4, 5 right there.
Okay, so that is super duper important, guys. And, you know, this is going to be like one of my main questions with this whole video. If you notice the timestamp here, it says 6:31 when he counts out loud. 5 shell casings were found right there. And that's already completely counter to what the FBI director, Christopher Wray, who is a lying bitch, testified to in Congress, that there were 8 shots that were fired by this shooter on this roof. And if you guys remember, if you guys watched my video that I put out, one of my last 2 videos about the second shooter, it flies in the face of the evidence that was presented in that video about the audio. that were captured on citizens' cell phone camera footage that sounded totally different, okay? It did not sound like if this person had shot 8 shots and there were 8 shell casings on this roof, that means that they were all shot from him in the same position. Why did they sound so totally different? And we're going to listen to it again. But I just, as soon as I heard that, I was completely shocked, because it's like, if he had counted them out and there was 8 there, you'd think that he would have seen all 8. They would not be 3 random, flung far and away, shell casings. And I just want you guys to continue watching, because it gets interesting from here.
No more guys up here. Go, give me a solid perimeter. Get guys prepped to clear the building. All right.
4 command. 4 command.
And there's the rifle. It looks like the police actually ended up moving it, because it's nowhere near his body.
Alpha 18 to 4 command. Fontaine. Myself and Michelle is out with the suspect on the roof. Several other members at Port Perimeter. Male is deceased. I'd imagine Secret Service. I have no idea. Male is deceased. I'd imagine Secret Service. I have no idea.
And I don't know what that comment was in reference to. I couldn't hear the other guy's question. It's like, we need all of this footage. We need everybody's freaking footage. And there was actually a part that was redacted from this very footage right here, which we're going to talk about in a second. But what was the question there? Like, were they talking about, there was this other, theory that's been going around the internet, and it was the man in the gray suit that apparently got to the top of this roof, and everybody kind of like didn't know who this person was, but just assumed that it was a Secret Service agent, and got people to text a number. Like, he gave them a phone number and said, hey, text me a picture of this guy's body and, like, I guess the gun and everything like that. And everybody just kind of assumed that he was there with proper credentials, and then come to find out later, nobody could pinpoint who the hell this was. And he just got to the top of the roof, and without really identifying himself at all, and was able to get the police officers who were up here to text him photographs of the scene and the body and the gun. It's like, what the hell?
The local officers went up to that roof and started taking pictures of the dead body, of the shooter's body. So suddenly a guy in a gray suit walks up the ladder and goes up to the roof. And this guy in the gray suit, who didn't appear to have credentials, everybody assumed he was the Secret Service. So he tells one of the local law enforcement, send those pictures to this cell phone. And he gives him a number. And everybody assumed, well, that must be Secret Service. It turns out it wasn't Secret Service.
Some guy in a suit walks up the ladder. They believed he was Secret Service. I'm not sure whether they gave credentials, but that's part of the, again, Maria, this is so preliminary. I'm issuing this. I'm providing this information, a much more detailed timeline to prompt others to come forward. We need to complete this picture. We have a lot of puzzle pieces to fill in here.
Is it odd to you that the locals were being told to send the pictures to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency, ATF? Where does ATF come in?
It's very. It's the oddity starts with the fact that local law enforcement were just tasked with securing the perimeter, told to go cover that AGR building, not really told where to set up. So they set up on the second floor. They went to that AGR building at 10:30 in the morning. So they were stationed there well in advance. You know, they noticed this suspicious character at 5:10. They took a photo of him at 5:14. The president was shot at 6:11. You know, so again, an hour has passed. You know, again, they don't communicate. They didn't have communication same channels with their law enforcement patrol officers. They weren't in communication with the Secret Service other than going through the Butler County Communication Center. So again, it's everything you would assume about Secret Service protection of a former president was not true. It didn't happen.
And then Chris Martinson, who was the guy's video who we reviewed on one of my last videos, said on a tweet, the narrative of Crooks being a lone gunman is 100% provably false, which means any deflection to investigating security lapses is evidence of a cover-up. The evidence I present today comes from analyzing and then comparing the audio files from two separate video recordings, one taken right in front of Trump and the other from just to the side of the American Glass building that Crooks was spotted on. As a reminder, audio forensic experts have already concluded that the audio signatures from 3 weapons could be resolved from whichever audio recordings they analyzed. And so my question is, when was the man on the gray suit on the roof? At what time? We need to know the timestamp and how long he was on that roof. And was it before or after they arrived on scene, and where what we're seeing here fits into that timeline of when that man was spotted on the roof and how long he was there for. And the reason why I asked that is because, like I said, there's a redaction from this helmet cam footage that we're about to see, and I want to know what was happening during that time. And why was it redacted?
This is who Greg called out.
Copy that. Also, be in position, be ready to deploy all of that out of your location.
Yeah, we can't leave now. Oh, you'll be good. You can go down a little bit farther. There's one of the, somebody had the hand. Do you know who had the hand injury, sir? You know who had the hand injuries? They said one of the SWAT guys had a hand injury. Okay. Okay. You say you do?
Yep. West side of the GR, high school with the bag, and he's going to maintaining a perimeter around it, 1305. They're calling you, do you? Yes, I went to the PSP. They're going to have PSP.
Well, you saw him in the first place, and we had one back then.
Copy. Okay,
Guaranteed back.
The hell was that? Okay, so you see that. So it was just at 6:38. Now it has jumped to 6:49. What was redacted and why is my biggest question. And I think it is very important to get those answers and to understand what could have possibly been so classified or top secret that we wouldn't be able to see this entire footage without that redaction. I mean, was this when the man with the gray suit was on the roof? Because I'm trying to make it make sense in my mind that the reason anybody would take 11 minutes of footage from this body cam when it looks like they're all just standing around on the roof, not doing much of anything, and take 11 minutes out. What happened?
Ask them to ask the boss. I probably wouldn't on that now. Let them come up and mess with that thing. Good.
It is a remote control device. It is gray in color, about 5-6 inches tall, about 1.5 to 2 inches wide, powered by a 9-volt battery.
And so they're talking about the remote detonation device.
Can you flip that over? Or should just leave it? They're wanting pictures of it for the spawn squad.
This was another thing that I found from this video that was very suspicious and odd to me, because they were talking multiple times about a bike that apparently this guy was spotted on, as well as a book sack. And so, and then also there was a van. And so my other biggest question, besides the discrepancy in the amount of casings that were initially discussed in this video, as opposed to the change in the quantity, as well as the report from the director of the FBI, my other biggest question is, who was the van registered to? And I don't believe we have that answer yet. I haven't found it anywhere. And why would this person, if he was working all alone, have a van filled with explosives and a remote detonation device, and then also be seen on a bike later? So if the van was filled with explosives, where was the bike? And why would he have two different means of transportation? I mean, it just doesn't really make much sense. And I don't know many 20-year-old guys that, you know, own white vans. Okay, so that's a really important question. I think needs an answer like ASAP, because it was reported that this rifle apparently was either registered or bought by his father. And he was obviously old enough to own one, because you have to be 18 to own a long gun. But that's really not as important as who did the vehicle belong to? Was it registered to this man and or his family, or was it registered to someone else? And if it was registered to someone else, who is that person? That's a key piece of evidence that I think has been not discussed enough and not really been forthcoming as far as the details of that go, which is something that could be easily found out, because as it turns out, the ATF was able to pinpoint who the shooter was based on the running the numbers for this, I guess the serial numbers for this rifle, which is bizarre, because how did y'all find that out so fast? There's no national gun registry. Like, it's very, very suspicious that they were able to find out in, I believe it was reported 30 minutes, who this gunman was based on that rifle. And I guess that would have been done by the ATF agent that found his way up on that roof undeterred, and God knows what else he was doing up there.
He has a rangefinder and cell phone as well.
Yeah, gloves.
I do not. I have a pair of regular gloves if you want them.
Touch evidence. Do me a favor. Med kit. There's gonna be gloves in here. Just open it a little bit or dump.
Gotcha.
They're black. See what we get. This one.
Front.
The stuff amongst shit actually was done when the shooting victims. That was just dumped out.
What's that?
Thrown in there.
There you go.
I just done.
Your zip back up.
Glad I decided to grab this back. Glad I decided to grab that back.
A rangefinder. I think it's in the cargo pocket.
Just put it out over the air. The actor
Michelle, if you want to tuck down on that lower roof, we're good. You feel more comfortable there. Whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, we got you covered, but if you feel comfortable on the lower roof, we're going to be stuck here for a little while.
I'm not concerned with her.
Hey, whose backpack is that?
He did. I'll show you the picture of the bike and the backpack he had.
I'll be able to text it to me.
Yeah.
Show it to me first in case it doesn't come through.
So this is the picture.
UD.
Yeah, I got a picture of it. How far? Where's that at?
Unless there was on the west side of the
Over there?
Hold on, what's in front of it? Hold on,
Also, who's this guy texting right here? What are these communications?
Call me. My phone's silent text. It rings. If that phone starts ringing or something, call me in case you got someone working with them. I'd like to secure it, but you know, there's a 10% battery left. I'll let them know Secret Service once again and grab the Faraday bag. I can.
In case he's got somebody working with him. And I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'll post this one and then the original body cam that was posted on YouTube, the full one, because the radio chatter is a little bit more clear in that one. But throughout this whole time, they're talking about the bike, and then there's a bag, apparently a different bag from what I'm understanding, and that's also not been made 100% clear. But if there is a second bag, that to me is also raises huge questions, but it's just been unconfirmed. I don't know if they're talking about the bag that's already on the roof, but there was a bike and a bag that was spotted and parked somewhere near this building and outside of the perimeter that the Secret Service was supposedly guarding. And then also there's some chatter over the radio about the water tower, which is another very big red flag in my mind, and a very big theory that's been going around the internet, and one that I wasn't really as keen on, you know, whenever I first heard it. But the fact that it's being mentioned several times and then hasn't really been mentioned since kind of piques my interest as well. So the fact that they were questioning this water tower immediately after, and were apparently talking about flying a drone over to make sure that there was nobody up there, tried to secure that, makes me very interested in what exactly they were thinking would be the reason why they would need to secure the water tower, and who or what threat they thought was coming from up there, because they really tried to brush that off and make it seem like it was a big nothing, and we haven't really heard anything of it at all other than this body cam footage. And I didn't really give it much credence because all the people on Twitter were showing like a blurry ass image from like 10 million feet away that couldn't really tell anything. But it seems like there might be some credibility to it, especially considering the fact that there were so many different sounds when it came to all the different shots that were heard.
stuff around it.
It looks very similar to the garage door opener. It's got numbers 1 through 12 on it.
Got
It
a
had a
removable
9-volt
antenna too.
an extendable antenna. Yep, let me know.
And there's the device they're talking about. He just mentioned the water tower again. And they all look up there.
I don't know what's under me.
What's that? Oh, okay. Just want to make sure you're good. Huh.
I was like, I'm gonna die.
Trying to see if I see gas meters anywhere, because if he has this device.
Keep your eyes on the water tower.
Got me.
Hmm.
You have eyes on the water tower. Correct. The PR unit will have other ones on the water tower. So
A couple guys up here asking if you're aware of any gas meters you may have seen on your way through. Copy. If you happen to see one in any type of device on, let me know. I'll relay it.
watching the water tower.
Let everything calm down for a second.
I just been sitting, I've been texting stuff to command with like literally notations, like when you found that, so I could.
You got a notepad on you, bro? You got a notepad and pen? Shells over there.
Both sides. Looks like what, at least 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, now it looks like 8. Now it looks like 8. So now it looks like it's at least 8. So why didn't you count 8 initially when you got up there? You counted 5 and then said nothing else about it until there was a redacted 11 minutes where we have no idea what happened, who was up there with you guys. And I'm not trying to say that any of these people planted any evidence. I would never allege that. It's not something I would ever think about. But, you know, maybe somebody not pictured here might have planted some casings. I don't know. It's quite interesting, though, that now there's at least 8. And who are you, sir? What agency are you with? Identify yourself, because you're not in a regular cop uniform. So it's very odd, and it looks like the area that he was motioning to, the additional 3, let's just look at this once more. He's pointing all over here about the casings. Shells over here, okay.
Looks like what, at least 8? 1,
so he's counting.
2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Why are there, so you see, there's one here. Looks like there's one here and maybe another one here or somewhere. But I can see, why would there be 2 right over here? This doesn't make any sense to me. Initially, he was counting all of them on this side of this divider here. And that makes more sense as to the shooter's position and the trajectory of those spent rounds and where I feel like it's most logically that they would land. I mean, I'm no expert or anything like that, but it's just bizarre to me that initially when you walked up, you counted 5 and now you're counting 8. Why is that? Huge question I have.
You know, kind of a natural part of any investigation.
So, did Crooks fire 8 shots?
We have recovered 8 cartridges on the roof.
So that's an interesting way to answer that question, because it was pretty specific in the way that it was phrased, and you kind of dodged and, you know, semantically answered it the way that you wanted to, because the question was, did Crooks fire 8 shots? And he didn't say, yes, he fired 8 shots. You know, that would have been one way to, you know, dodge it. Or he would have said that, yes, the shooter fired 8 shots. You know, that would have been another way. But he said, we recovered 8 shots on the roof. He recovered 8 shots. So you recovered 8 cartridges on the roof. But where did they all come from? And did Crooks fire 8 shots? Which was the original question, right? What's with the dodge? What's with the semantics here that he just played? Because I found that also to be extremely indicative and extremely telling as to the way he answered that question. Very political, very politician, slimy, slippery little answer that was.
We have recovered 8 cartridges on the roof.
That's fascinating.
Why was Crooks allowed to get off 8 shots?
Well, that, I think, is something we're still digging into. Again, maybe this is a good place for me to make clear the different investigations that are going on.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So, did Crooks fire 8 shots?
We have recovered 8 cartridges on the roof.
2 weapons. One fires a string of 3, another fires a string of 5 or 6, depending on how we count, and off they go. And they were also out hitting the crowd and headed towards Trump. Okay? This is important because now we do not have a lone gunman anymore. Okay? So listen up. Here we go.
So, as we went over already on this video here, if you guys want to go check it out, I'll link it somewhere, either like at the beginning or the end. Tell me again. Try to lie to me again. Christopher Ray, you little slippery slug, okay, that there were 8 cartridges found on the roof, shot by the same person from the same gun, when there were so distinctly different sounds. I mean, absolutely different. The rhythm was different of the shooting. The sounds were different. The echo was different. It sounded like there were different weapons. I mean, everything about it. You cannot, I mean, sit here and play in my face and try to gaslight me that those 8 shots that we just heard were all from Crooks on that roof in that position from that weapon. You cannot, I mean, you just can't. I won't even like take you seriously if you try to convince me that what we just heard was all from Crooks firing from that position on that roof, and that all 8 of those cartridges were found because they were all fired from him.
Okay. So listen up. Here we go.
So, again, whenever the police officer initially walked up to the scene on the roof and he counted 5 cartridges, that was the first thing he said. Whenever they said, be careful of the spent rounds or whatever. And he said, oh yeah, I see 5 right here. I see 5 after looking around. The 5 rapid fire shots that sounded the closest out of all 10 that I counted. Other people are saying 11. I counted 10 after watching Chris Martinson's audio breakdown that he did. I felt that I could distinguish at least 10. So out of all of those, the 5, the rapid succession 5 were sounding the closest, which would make sense from this angle here that was shot by a citizen's cell phone, because they were the closest to the shooter on the roof. So where the other 3 came from, I do not know. But one thing I do know is that they did not come from crooks, and they did not come from the same person shooting the same weapon as what was shot, the 5 that obviously must have come from crooks, because it even sounded like a more amateur shooter, as I discussed in this video here. It was like, you know, only people who are just in a panic or who are just, you know, an amateur would shoot a rifle like that, because you're not going to get off any successful target with that kind of shooting. You have to be deliberate and aim when you're shooting a rifle, especially at that distance, because otherwise you're just shooting into the wind and it makes no sense. So it seems like somebody from either behind him inside the building or from a different place, either, you know, whatever you want to say, the water tower, wherever. The first 3 shots were very deliberate and aimed and almost hit the target, which was President Trump. And so Brandon Herrera did a really good video where he kind of tried to recreate this. So I just want to show you guys what 130 yards looks like, which is a distance apparently from where the shooter was positioned on the roof to President Trump. If you're looking down the barrel of a rifle similar to what the suspected gunman had, and it looked like there was no magnified scope on that weapon. It looked like just your regular run-of-the-mill red dot, which can be accurate depending on whether or not you're lining up your sights and if you're actually taking your time to aim. So this was kind of just a clear shot of what, putting you in the position of the shooter and what that would look like.
For context, this is approximately 130 yards. See what that looks like down the sight.
So this is, okay, so again, this is what I'm talking about. If you've ever shot a rifle or a gun or anything like that, if you're familiar with weapons at all, you would probably know what I'm trying to say here. But you have to really take aim, okay? Yes, rifles are very extremely accurate when it comes to, you know, the type of, all different types of guns that one can use. A rifle is extremely accurate. But a human head is a very small target, especially from this far away, especially if you don't have a magnified scope. And so you have to be deliberate in your shooting. So the erratic 5 shots, it seems indicative of somebody who's an amateur and somebody who wouldn't have much experience or know-how in regards to almost assassinating President Trump. And so that kind of makes sense to the theory of whoever shot those first 3 deliberate shots, which one almost hit President Trump right in the head, was aiming and was a better shot and would have been successful had it not been for God Almighty and, you know, wind factors and him subtly turning his head and all the rest of it. So
You absolutely, like, this dot covered a good chunk of the head at that distance at 130. Yeah, no bipod, super elevated heart rate, no magnification. Right. So a lot of people were saying like, well, yeah, you could just zoom in a scope like Call of Duty, huh? No, it's not a scope. This is not like a fucking sniper weapon. This right here is a 1 magnification. So it's 0 mag. It's literally just looking through a piece of glass with a dot on it.
Right.
So yeah, now hopefully you have a better idea of why saying that the earshot was specifically staged using that setup at like 150 yards is just fucking stupid, frankly.
So if you guys want to check out the rest of this video, I will link this one as well. But I found that to be very interesting, and just so you guys kind of picture it, because I also found that to be helpful. Now, Director Ray also did mention that Crooks had Googled the Lee Harvey Oswald and JFK assassination, which, you know, I was just like, you know, pretty on the nose, pretty on the freaking nose there, okay? That is just blatant gaslighting, blatant playing in everyone's face. You're gonna tell me that this guy was Googling the distance from Lee Harvey Oswald to JFK, as if Lee Harvey Oswald was the one that shot JFK from a 6-story textbook. Okay, yeah, like I said, just the way that they just say the choir part aloud sometimes so blatantly, I feel like it's almost like just they try to see what they can get away with. They really do try to see how far they can take it and how stupid they think everyone is to say something like that. It's the audacity for me. And so I think that it's disgusting the way that they're not talking about this or demanding answers, but I still want them, and I don't think a lot of us are going to stop until we get them. So y'all let me know, guys, and until next time, y'all subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like this, and like the video, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.